May 28th, 2025. I apologize for it's been a little while since I made a video. I made one yesterday, but the sound didn't work for some reason, so I just ended up taking it down and scrapping it. As far as today, we obviously had a sell off to start the day, and then we're in a trading range for the remainder of the day. So as far as setups go, you can buy early in the day. One and two might need a second leg, but this is a prime example of why I don't trade before bar seven. Because a lot of times the breakouts will fail, and the reversals might end up working. So three and four, obviously, I think is a little bit stronger than one and two. Bar four itself is essentially the range of one and two, so that's a really good bar. Five, three, four, five is a pretty strong three bar micro channel. I did not take it because I don't trade before bar seven. However, I think it was pretty logical to sell the close of five, expecting to get at least a little more down. But you just have to be a little careful because one and two still might need some sort of second leg. So it's a little bit of trading range behavior. Eight, nine, 10, three bar bear micro channel. Okay to sell. Not as good because of the large tails on the bottom. There's something about the strength. I have to look into it, but I think that the strength of the third bar, how strong it closes, is relative to success rate. It's going to be related in some way, but I'm going to need to figure that out. The overall, does the whole setup close in its lower third? No, it doesn't. So maybe not as good. Does the whole setup close, in its lower third down here? Yes, it does. So maybe a little bit better. Like I said, I haven't looked into it yet, but something to consider. Bar 11, an outside up bar, but a large tail on the top and the bottom. Really not that good. Probably going to be a lot more sideways here. Bar 12, 13, or sideways to down, right? We have two legs, one, pull back, two, pull back. Maybe we get a third leg. Curious if this is getting its symmetrical second leg right now. I obviously did not take this trade. And it looks like it's going to get it. We'll see. So 12, 13, 14, pretty good three bar micro channel. It was a later leg though, and it was moving like more of a trading range than a trend. So I did not end up taking 14, but I thought it was pretty okay to sell 14 or to sell in the upper third of 14 when you get a big bar like that. And it could be later when as 15 is rallying, if 15 closes on its high, it's three legs down, and so it's better to get out. So there's an argument for selling as 15 is rallying, trying to get a second leg down. Or I guess you'd be trading leg three for leg four, which is the problem, but that is something you can do. 17, 18, 19. So obviously we continue down. It's like a 9 bar bear micro channel, and then we get a big bull bar on 19. I sold during 19 up here. The reason was this hadn't gotten a symmetrical second leg yet. So I sold basically looking for a symmetrical second leg to start. And my plan was if 19 closed on its high, I was just going to get out. And obviously 19 did close on its high. I essentially sold the 17 high. It did close on its high. I was willing to exit above 19, but it did not trigger. So I got out around break even on bar 20. 22, a bull bar closing near its high. Good for the Bulls, but 20 and 21 is pretty strong as well. A good surprise for the Bulls on 22, but I don't know. I think we're still going to be a little more sideways to down. 23, 24, and 25, strong, decent three bar micro channel. 3 bars all closing near their lows, which is good for the Bears. I did end up selling the close of 25, and I had scaled in a couple of times, and 30 got me out at basically, it was like a tick or two above that low, but that's where I got out essentially right at the low. I thought that we would go a tick below 26 simply because 26 is a low probability trade. And the tail on the top of 26, I think, is important. If 26 has no tail on the top, I think it's a little bit better and a little bit worse for the Bears. Also, the fact that we gapped down on the close of 26 means more traders were interested in selling it than buying it. So not really as great. So odds are we're going to go one tick below 26 and not trap all the Bulls or all the Bears. 19 is a good bar. 22 is a good bar. And this is obviously like it is a third reversal up. You can see channel line becoming less steep. So I don't really have an issue. If you bought above 26, and you probably need to use a pretty wide stop because we could get another leg or two down. We've been below the moving average for a while, but if you're willing to scale in, you'll probably make money. 31 and 32, good bars for the bulls. Consecutive strong bull bars closing near their highs. Odds are we're going a little bit higher. Disappointing follow through on 33, but a bad sell signal. So an okay buy. We get obviously 3 or 4 legs up. It was getting difficult, if this was through our micro channel to buy up here, because I think we're in leg, whatever, 4 or 5, getting up higher, and I don't really know where the top of the trading range is. Thought it might have been the bar 19 high, and then obviously the next resistance would be the bar 11 high, which is essentially what we ended up going to. Also the 3-bar micro channel, I'm getting a little bit paranoid when I take entries now because it's been working so much recently. In my back testing, there was like a spree where it worked 43 out of 48 entries or something along those lines. And it seems to happen like once a month where you just get a ton of working entries. But everything on this day, except for 44, worked. I think every entry worked on this day. Yep, every single entry worked on this day. Every entry worked on this day. I believe. Yeah, every entry worked on this day. And then every entry has worked so far today. Obviously, we're in the middle of a couple of trades, but I'm just getting, paranoid about it because when they work this often, what happened after was they didn't work for a day or two. It's not really a good reason to be paranoid about trading, but it's just what's going on with me right now. Anyways, 47, 48, 49. You can sell 49. I did sell 49. Thought it was a pretty good trade. This whole move down was a big bear move on the 15-minute. So I thought there was a reasonable enough chance we get some sort of attempt to go back towards the low of the day. We obviously do go back we did get back to the low of the day. We just didn't do it when I thought we would do it. And I scaled in a couple of times, and then 55 was a big enough bar that I need to start to look to get out. So I exited around break even during 56. It was actually not quite around break even. It was a small loss. Those were my only trades on the day. So I did make a little bit of money today. But I thought that, when I get a bar like 55, I need to look into this, right? Because it's this could be a second leg, 1 pullback, 2. And second leg traps are common in trading ranges. And so I need to look into, when I get this big bar against me, what leg of the pullback is it? Because in theory, let's say you're short for any reason, you get consecutive bull bars against you. If those bull bars are leg 1, well, you probably should just exit your trade because, a strong move against you should get a second leg. And it could be more than a pullback. But if that occurs in leg 3 or leg 4, over here, if you're still short, well, it makes less sense to exit now because we're in a later leg. So it's not, it's not as high probability that 42 and 43 are going to succeed as it is that 31 and 32 are going to succeed. So I think the important thing to work on is noticing when the market gives you something like 55, what leg is it in? And, figuring out how much that decreases your probability of a successful trade. So as I said, I took this and then I got out for a small loss here. So I won 1 of my 3 trades today, but that win was a good amount bigger than the 2 small losses. I did not take 65, giant tail on the bottom, and I'm trying not to trade past bar 60 on or past bar 65. And again, I think this is another one of those scenarios where you have a large tail on the bottom, and that could affect how good the signal is, particularly in a case where the third bar is bigger than the first 2 bars combined. It's bigger than, 3 times the range of the first 2 bars combined. So particularly when you get something like that, you have to be wondering, how effective it is. And obviously we have big down and then we have big up. So now we're just going sideways, likely for the rest of the day. As far as the daily chart, it hasn't closed yet. So we won't know for another 40 minutes what it's going to look like. But I would imagine, this is obviously a large bull bar, really not what you wanted to see in a pullback after these 4 bars. So I would imagine this is going to get some sort of second piece up, but we're probably going to have to test back down to the May 23rd high. So whatever that price is that we broke out of, 58.72. Trader who sold above the May 23rd bar, 58.72, is probably going to be able to scale in and make money. So I would imagine we're going to go back to this price. The weekly chart, 3 or 4 legs up. It is 3, 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3. Maybe we get a 4th leg up. Either way, probably going to be a little bit of a trading range here. And I don't need to go over the monthly chart. I've been going over it pretty consistently, so I think it's okay for now. But all right, that's going to be it for this review.